dialogue on gender-based violence, brought to you by Access to Play in collaboration with UNFPA. My name is Tehila Zaman, and I'll be your MC for today. So to start off today's event, I'd like to welcome the deputy representative of UNFPA Nigeria, Mr. Kosan Kwawu, to give the welcome address.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning. I am really struck by the audience this morning. It is really unusual to see this type of group in our office. So I want to welcome you all, especially welcome our youth into the UN House and to this event this morning. I understand that you wanted to have a dialogue about gender-based violence, and which, as you know, we all together are commemorating the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. So your presence here is really a sign of our collective investment into the future. So here I want to then welcome you to the UN House very warmly. I want also to welcome your teachers who brought you, who accompanied you to this event this morning. I want to acknowledge the presence here of our other agencies, UN agencies present here, and other partners who are with us this morning. It is really a pleasure and honor for me to welcome you to this conversation, this dialogue. We are here to engage in this dialogue, especially, just like you say, as we are commemorating the 16 days of activism. Your presence, our dear students and teachers, signify the commitment to advocate for your own rights and well-being. And I am happy, very happy that you are already taking this upon you to start this conversation at your this, I will put in quote unquote, your this early age. And I can see that we don't only have young girls in the group, but we also have young boys. Because this is very important for all of us, girls and boys, to understand the critical need to protect the dignity of women and girls. And I'm very happy that this conversation is taking place with all youth. So together, we can empower our youth with knowledge and understanding, fostering an environment where everyone feels safe and respected. So as you share your thoughts and experience and solutions today, let's remember that each voice matters. Together, we can make a difference and work towards a future free from violence for everyone, especially for women and girls. So thank you again for being here this morning. We look forward to hearing your insights and your guidance and the recommendations that you will be making for us, the elders, so that we can really implement and take into account your thoughts. So thank you very much, and I wish you very productive dialogue. Thank you.
So I like the fact that you said, parents at home, we need to start this. From our homes and our teachers, we have a major, major, major role to play. We have a major role to play here. Because another example of violence that usually happens in school is neglect, where teachers are supposed to be supervising children, but teachers are not maybe in their duty post, or even because they're overwhelmed. The number of students we have in schools is not commensurate with the number of teachers. You know, early those years, it's one teacher, I think, to 6 or to 4. That's how it's been divided. But now, teachers, you can attest, you have one teacher to what? Over 100 students in class. So really, they can't be everywhere. But some of these things happen when the children know that, especially in schools, when children know that nobody is watching them. They begin to take lunch, they begin to slap, they begin to use abusive words. Or even sometimes we use the abusive words ourselves. And then it has an effect on these children. And for them, they vent out to who they perceive as being the weakest link. And who is the weakest link as per our society? Girl, because a girl cannot raise her hand, and then maybe that once you slap her, she will hold her face and think about it first. She has too many things going on. It's possible she's fighting, she can be further abused. Her breast will be touched, her private part, her skirts can go up. She might even be on her period. And I often ask these questions to my young boys and even girls, is that why don't you always go to your equal when you want to perpetrate physical violence? Why do you look for somebody who is you're taller than, or somebody you feel is short, or somebody you feel is weak? Why do we do that? Do we usually, when violence wants to happen, whether it's physical, emotional, economic, you know, or any form of abuse, why do we go for people who we feel we have some power over? And that's where I talked about the power imbalance. You go for people who you feel are weak. A man or a boy, I tell him, why don't you, what's your name? Michael. If Michael wants to, God forbid, wants to perpetrate any violence, why don't you go and meet a guy like you, Michael? Is it possible for you to pull his pants? You won't. How dare you? Isn't it? Is it possible for you to say, hey, what do you call this guy, this thing now? I now know all of your slang. X, what do you call X? Or what's all those other things that you now use? X, you now use, what's the other one? Okay, soft. Abi? All those language that you people use now. Yes, I have teenagers, so I know soft is okay, right? X, let's go. Yeah, X, yeah, it could be X. Or Mo X. Yes, so you know, so that's on a lighter note. So why don't you meet guys and then tell them that, okay, you know what, let's fight. You don't. Even girls that can't fight in school, why do you now go for the ones in JS1 or even in your class, those that you feel are quiet, and you are the weak one? For me, if you're going to go out there, go and meet your peer, your mate, so that when you're digging it, then you're digging it correctly. Yes? So these are some of the reasons why, you know, we perpetrate violence against women. We're usually perceived as the weaker link. Is our society, you know, there's this perception, you know, it starts from home and it also starts from school. Somebody gave an example where when it comes to football games, for instance, we say, no, the boys team, no, girls, please, you people should go and do volleyball, go and do all of those things. That's what girls are known for. But in my high school, my secondary school, I was in the soccer team. Nobody ever limited my potential. I was in a football team. I was playing for my school. Did it make me less of a woman or even more or whatever it is? No. I did what I wanted to do. When it was time for me to stop, I decided to stop. So please, what I'm saying is, teachers, we have a huge role here in trying to change the perception that we have already about these things. Because if we don't change the perception, these things somehow subconsciously we will end up, you know, in our adulthood going to perpetrate it, and that's not what we want. And I like the example that somebody gave, just quickly, I know we're tired, but I like to correct certain things, so I hope I'm making sense. True. Yeah. Somebody mentioned, I know we talked about the effect that GBV has on survivors, you know, and then yes, we kind of did a wishy-washy, and then, you know, but the first thing I want to say is the stigma. Because some of us here in this room are guilty. We are the ones that will go and tell somebody that something happened, and then we begin to point and laugh at the survivor. And then we give more power to the perpetrator because nothing is done. So stigma is really one thing that makes, survivors don't want to even talk about it. The other lady gave an example that her friend, was always fighting, so this is where our school counselors also come in. Somebody will be so aggressive and be mad, but you just already classify that person is a bad child, no home training. But I think we have another layer that we need to go beyond, what we are paid for, which is to teach and they go. It's also our responsibility, and I want us to take, because from today we are advocates of change. We're no more just anybody that just has general information. We are advocates of change from today. When you see someone just like she did, she was very persistent. She went and where the girl wanted to beat her, but eventually she told her, this is what is happening. And then this is where I want to correct a perception. You and I, beyond being there and listening, let us not try to counsel. It is not our role. It is not our job. Because with the little we know, we might end up saying what is not correct. Okay? You listen. When you listen, you report. The perpetrator might say, you know what, I don't want you to tell anyone. Respect her. Don't tell. But also come back again to her and say, you know what, if we don't tell somebody who is in a position to help you, you will continue to dwell and die in this. So it is very important. The young man said, it's good when people are going through trauma, you tell an adult, a trusted adult. Yes. A trusted adult. And in this case, most of the hours you spend in school, I'm sure you have all schools have counselors, right? Yes. You can go, that should be your entry point. Okay? But gain the trust from the survivor. She's telling you, I don't want. Okay, you don't want, but at least the first stage is listening, right? Sometimes our problems are resolved when you just hear. When somebody else hears us, that's the first stage. But the next stage is for you to go and report, because that's the best help you can give that person. And for my teachers, please, when they report, please do investigation and take action. And even if the action is beyond you, please explain to the survivor why certain things were, and then find other ways, which is now we're going back to we will spend time, discussing until we find a solution. So we don't just leave the survivors like that and the perpetrators just going on or going about with their way. Somebody talked about she wants justice for the survivors. She wants the person to be punished. And on a last note, before I let you go, we have a foundation, I think Ilimi Foundation, who is creating GBV clubs in school. I don't know if any of the schools have been met yet, but it's usually the government schools. They are creating GBV clubs where, students will have that safe space that we have been talking about, where they talk, the mentors are students as well. They are mentors. They create that space where students will come, will learn, and even share their stories and experiences and then help others. So if you haven't created that, for those of you in private school, push for that to happen. Push for it to happen. You have the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Use your voices and orange the wall. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Country representative, UNODC, UNFPA country representative, UNFPA Nigeria, Mrs. Hafsat Kagara, our own Lagos Bureau, Mr. Luwadamilola Abdullahi Akoteri, CEO Access to Play Network. Thank you very much. teachers, educators, guardians, and our very precious young people, our young adults in the room. Pressmen, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor and privilege to join you today for this transformative initiative, the Adolescent Creative Dialogue on Gender-Based Violence. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the organizers UNFPA Nigeria and the Access to Creative Play Foundation for their unwavering commitment to addressing one of the most pressing social challenges of our time. Gender-based violence remains a pervasive issue that threatens the well-being, dignity, and future of countless individuals, especially women and girls. Globally, it is recognized as a grave human rights violation that transcends borders, cultures, and socioeconomic levels. Here in Nigeria, the reality of GBV calls for urgent collective action to protect the most vulnerable among us and ensure that everyone can live in dignity, free from fear and harm. This event, as part of the 16 days Activism against gender-based violence, is particularly commendable for placing adolescents at the center of the dialogue. By empowering young voices, we are nurturing a generation of leaders who can champion change themselves, who can challenge harmful norms and propose innovative solutions to combat GBV. The creative approach of incorporating panel discussions, theater performances, art sessions, and other forms of expressions is a powerful tool for advocacy and education, thereby amplifying the voices of adolescents while fostering empathy and awareness. In Lagos State, we have made significant strides in addressing gender-based violence through initiatives such as Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency. The agency provides a robust framework for prevention, response, and survival support. The elevation of the DSVA into a full-fledged agency has strengthened its capacity to offer survivors of sexual and gender-based violence a comprehensive range of services, including legal aid, psychological support, and protection. This transformation underscores the government's commitment to creating a society where victims are not only heard, but are also empowered to seek justice and find healing. Through my office, I initiated stakeholders meetings, interministerial stakeholders meetings, where political will and collaborative actions have helped to achieve so much in the fight against gender-based violence. We also prioritize education and empowerment programs targeting both boys and girls, vis-a-vis the Lagos Boy Child Initiative, the Lagos State, the Office of First Lady, War Against Drug Advocacy, ensuring that they understand their rights and responsibilities in building a safe and inclusive, equitable society. That being said, our journey is far from complete. The battle against domestic and sexual violence requires relentless efforts, sustained awareness, and most importantly, a willingness to listen to survivors. We must ensure, even as young people and not so young people, that victims find safety and solace while we pursue justice for those who have suffered at the hands of their abusers. We must intensify awareness campaigns and educate our youth, families, and communities about the importance of speaking up, reporting abuses, and breaking the silence that too often surrounds these heinous acts. It is our duty to raise a generation that respects and upholds the rights and the dignity of every individual, regardless of gender or background. It is important for everyone here to recognize that this battle cannot be won by any single state, any single organization, or a single individual. It requires partnerships, collaborations, and sustained commitments. A program like this will not be complete without impact. Platforms like this, which bring together diverse stakeholders, including adolescents, are vital in creating a unified front against gender-based violence. To the adolescents present here today, your courage in sharing your experiences, reflections, ideas is not only inspiring, but also very transformative. You are the heart of this movement, and your contributions are essential in shaping a society where violence is no longer tolerated and everyone can thrive. As we engage in today's dialogue, I urge every one of us to remember that every action we take, no matter how small, matters. Together, we must break the cycle of violence, promote gender equity and equality, and ensure that no one is left behind. I would like to reaffirm my commitment, both as an individual and as the First Lady of Lagos State, to support initiatives that protect and empower women, girls, and adolescents. Let us work together to create a future where every child grows up in a safe and nurturing environment, free from a shadow of violence. Thank you, and may all the contributions, deliberations today lead to meaningful and lasting change. God bless you all.